Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Now, are you interested in migration, visa and study abroad in Australia? Consider to subscribe to my channel because we have all the weekly updates you may want to be involved into all these newly updated information. Now, today's video, I would like to discuss about the skill migration, which is the most commonly asked visa category. Now, obviously, within the whole immigration system of Australia, skill migration is the most bulky part of the immigration visa system. So it's about 70% covered all by skill migration. It covers from independent, state nomination, and also including the business skill and investment visa as well. Now today I would like to focus on the professional part, which is the skill part, which is covered like IT, all these studies, and all these working white collar, blue collar type of migrants. I think that it should be all of you are watching at the moment. Now, the reason I want to do this video is due to the upcoming 2021 and also the newly announced budget 2020 and 21, which most of the state and territory will start to open up for accepting all these skilled migrants. So let's get ready and understand how the points table works, because you have to have a certain points in order to be invited by either the immigration federal government or by the state or territory governments. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, I'd like to take you, not 491. 491 should be the last one we're going to discuss, but let's jump into the first one, the subclass 189, the point test system, because this is the foundation and the basis, and it's the very first introduced visa category, should we call general skill migration. They don't call that anymore, but it's how Australian skill migration, the visa program started. A lot of people know that you come to Australia, study, and you migrate. But now that has been 20-30 years already. Now it has evolved into a very, very complex system. So since late last year, 2019, they have introduced and wanting more migrants and skilled migrants to move into regional Australia, to assist regional Australia to develop and also to assist in the economies in those regions. Now let's take a look at the foundation, because under subclass 189 and the state sponsors or nomination 190 and 491, their basic system are all the same. So first of all, you need to be invited. If you're not invited, you cannot just say, look, I'm an IT engineer, I've been working for 10 years, I'd like to migrate to Australia, and just lodge your application. No, you cannot do that no more. It's an invitation-based system now. So you need to put an EOI, express an interest, and indicate your experience and your skill, blah, 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 and meet the points. Then you gotta wait until you get invited. So the government at the back, the nominators, they pick the brightest and the best. So all you are supposed to be doing is you need to present the best of you. That's including qualification, age, work experiences, blah blah blah. We're gonna go through all that, and you get invited. If you don't get invited, you cannot lodge the application or you cannot lodge the visa. Now, second important is you need to have a suitable skill assessment. Now, that's very important, because you hit whatever the skill or whatever the qualification you might not achieve it in Australia. Even if you have achieved in Australia, you need to get skill assessed, because you have to go above the standard requirement. If you are not meeting that requirement, or you do not have any skill assessment, you cannot be in there, because you will lodge it invalid, or you'll get a rejection straight away. So you need to get skill assessed by the Australian authority for the particular occupation that you are in. Now, I have done a list and series of videos in regards to skill assessment. You might want to move into that playlist and have a look around. Now, skill assessment you have a validity of 3 years, so it's actually another good thing, because you can actually use that for your future employment in Australia as well, because that shows your skill and experiences are matching correctly of what the Australian standard is. So again, it's very good. Now, you need to be an age of 45 or under. You cannot be an age over than this. So that's again, they want the best skill migrant to be there, and you need to be a score 65. We're going to go through the point score tables together in this video, and also the English level you require to get minimum is competent. That's equivalent to IELTS 6. Now, obviously, there are different other types of tests. They are TOEFL, they are CAE, they are PTE. You can also take that. Obviously, if you click into that link there, or if you cannot find it, leave a comment right down below. I'll show you the link, and you can actually go in there to actually indicate whatever level you require if you wanted to take PTE, or if you want to take the CAE, or perhaps TOEFL. Okay. Now, the rest is health requirement and character. So you need to get a medical checkup, and you cannot have any possible character issue, that including you need to provide a police certificate showing that you're clean. That's another way to say it. Okay, let's jump into the points table now. So 189, again, that's the independent skill migration visa. So if your age, let's move that over a bit so you can see the whole picture here. Now, age, if you're between the age of 18 and 25, you get 25 points. 25 to 33, you get 30 points. 33 to 40, you get 25 points. And 40 to 45, you get 15 points. So they obviously they want people who are within the 25 and 33. Now, obviously, if you're between 40 and 45, that's fine. Probably you have more points scored at your work experience, and we're gonna read that later. So again, the English is a second requirement, and you need to at least have competent English. But unfortunately, competent English out of 6, you get 0 points. So I'll really recommend people to actually achieve proficient English. That's equivalent to 7 across 4 bands. So you get at 10 points. And superior, that's 8 points across 4 bands. You get 20 points there. Now, superior is quite high, because for instance, if you're taking 20 questions in the IELTS test, you can only have 1 question wrong, because the top mark is 9, and 8 is the one least than 9. So that's actually very hard. But over the years, I've seen many people achieve superior English, and mostly they are doing it through PTE. You may want to do some research and trial with PTE. Now, employment points. Okay, so if you're overseas, okay, offshore, outside Australia, if you have work experience in the occupation that you're in, for instance, you cannot, if you're an accountant and you're nominating your work experiences as in IT, that won't count. You have to have the work experience that closely related to your nominated occupation. So if your nominated occupation and you have been working overseas for more at least 3 to 5 years, that's 5 points. 5 to 8 years, that's 10.8 years or above, you get 15 points. But if you have work experience in Australia, that's another scenario. You get 1 to 3 years, you get 5 points. 3 to 5 years, 10 points. 5 to 8 years, 15 points. At least 8 years or above, you get 20 points. You get more points when you're working in Australia. However, I want to say this, it would be sad if you've been working in Australia for 8 years and you haven't even got your residency yet. That's quite sad. Anyhow, I don't know if there's any people like this. Perhaps you might want to transfer yourself into a permanent residency so you get more rights in Australia. Okay, now moving on, qualification wise, if you have a doctoral PhD, you get 20 points. You have a chief bachelor or master, you get 15 points. Diploma in trades, 10 points here. Okay, now there is a new established category here. It says specialist education qualification. You'll be awarded additional 10 points if you study master by research or doctorate in Australia for at least 2 years in the following categories. So these categories are basically all the natural and physical science, so biological, chemical, earth, mathematical, natural and physical, other, and physics and astronomy, or in information technology, computer science, information system, information technology, and other like cyber security, network, things like that, and in the engineering and related technology, so civil, electrical, electronic, manufacturing, maritime, mechanical, and all these subjects. If you study these ones within the master by research or higher, as in PhD, you will be awarding another 10 points. So you can see that Australia wanting to have these high tech people to be in Australia. Now, study requirement, that's not hard, because if you have meet the above what we just mentioned, you study bachelor, master, or PhD, you will get study requirement anyway, because the requirement is that you have to study at least one degree, diploma, trade qualification in Australia for at least two years, obviously. So you get that 5 points. That's straight given points. Now, professional year, it's some sort of like additional training or internship year, and it's only open for three kind of occupation category, and that giving you another 5 points. That's for accountants, okay, engineers, and IT professions. So only these three. So you can see here, accounting, ICT, computing, and engineering, okay, and you get 12 month of studies and internships, you get extra 5 points. That's just another program to help the newly graduates to actually gain more experiences and get into the actual work field. So it's quite good, and you get that 5 points as well. I really recommend people to take that too. Now, credential community language, I want to take a little bit of time on this one, because traditionally, I mean, in the old time, community credential language will be you got to become an interpreter or a translator, which is quite hard to actually become. But if you have scored an IELTS level at least 7, I think you automatically get this credential community language, because all you need to do is click on a link and you get into an online test. All you need to do is testing between, you can straight away translate between your language, English, and your mother language. For example, English and Chinese, or English and Hindi, or Cantonese, and that only required to be verbal. So, for example, you go out and you talk to someone, and you can straight away translate what he meant to another person, rather than become an official recognized translator or interpreter. So I think this is straight away given as well. I really recommend people to take that as well. Now, if you study in regional Australia, that including Adelaide, Perth, and Gold Coast, obviously Cairns, Darwin, Tasmania, you get that 5 points as well. So that's another initiative that the Australian government wants to promote, that the international student to actually be studying in regional Australia, so pushing up the economy in those regions, and also the workforces and all that. Now, partner is not a new one. Now, let's go through this with a little bit of time. So if you have a partner who is going to be your spouse or de facto partners, and she also passed what you have done, so she's under 45, got skill assess, got IELTS of 6 at least, okay, you get that extra 10 points. Now, if your partner can only pass English by having a competent English, that's IELTS 6, you get that 5 points. But if your partner doesn't have English and doesn't have a skill assessment or within all these categories, you get 0 points. Now, that's another, they want to promote your partner to be more educated and skillful as you are. But here, as you can see, if your partner is an Australian citizen or permanent resident, or if you're single, you get 10 points. Wow, very interesting. Now, I do see people choosing this because, I mean, some people, they have their partner or spouse as Australian citizen. Why are you bothered to go through skill migration again? Well, some people said, well, I don't want to rely on my partner to gain Australian permanent residency, so they choose this way, which is good. Anyhow, that's a decision for you to make. Now, again, 1A9 actually gives us the basis of the points table here. So if we jump into subclass 190, as you can see, the basis doesn't change. So we go through age, language, employment experiences, qualifications, special education, study requirement, professional year, credential, community language, studying regional partner, that's all the same. Now, the only difference here is that if you've been nominated and your occupation is within that state or territory's preferable occupations, the state will actually provide you additional 5 points. That's not that much, but sometimes 5 points does make changes. So they might want certain, for example, the post-pandemic era, people want those medical and nurses. They will give you extra points to be nominated and want you to go there to work. So again, that's another good part about it for state or territory nominations. Now that's the basis again. Now if we move on to 491, that's a regional provisional. As you can see, it's a provisional. It's not permanent residency straight away. Now everything stays the same, and the bottom is different because they given you extra 15 points, as you can see here. Now the reason they give you extra 15 points, that's very good for a lot of people who cannot meet 70 or 80 points for 189 or 190. You might want to give a go for 491 because 491 giving you the extra buff of 15 points that gets you to the required points to be nominated. But you have to go there, go to those regional places. Now the only thing here is that once you settle there, you got to be there employed for another 3 years in order to transfer into a permanent residency under subclass 191. Now once you get there, the employment does not require to be within your occupation. Giving you an instance, if you're nominated as IT or IT, okay, and going to Gold Coast, for instance. Now, once you get that 491 visa, and you cannot find the IT job, however, you have found other job to be a manager of some business or whatever, you're being employed there full time. That's all good, as long as these 3 years your annual income is above $53,900, $53,900 above that. So you have to have the tax return paperwork. So once you show that to immigration, you will be able to transfer into 191 permanent residency. So you don't have to lock into your original nominated occupations. But there's a drawback on this one because the government of Australia wanting you to be in regional. So obviously there's a condition once you've been accepted and approved under subclass 491. So once you got 491, you cannot, even if you have more points or you have got a Australian spouse, you cannot transfer while during these 3 years into other 189, 190 or partner visa or even business investment visa. So you have to stick with 491 at least 3 years, and then you move on. You either meet the requirement, you transfer into 191 into permanent residency, or you wanted to pick other type of visa. Anyhow, that's a drawback, but it's a government policy. They want to promote people and skilled migrants to regionals. They want to use this way to actually allow you to enforce and way and condition that you will be residing and settling in regional Australia. So that's for the video today. Should you have more question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below. And that's the end of this video. I shall see you in next video. Goodbye.